Hello and welcome to the Angus Report, a news program geared specifically toward cattle producers. I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Paige Wallace. From American Angus Association headquarters in St. Joseph, Missouri, we bring you the week's top headlines, including an outlook for the Angus breed in 2012.
We'll learn some tips for a successful bull sale season.
We look at getting the most return for calves on feed. And
we remember a president who had a passion for his country and the Angus business.
This is the Angus Report.
Our top story for the week. Bull sales are in full swing in many parts of the country, and many breeders are reporting record-breaking numbers. As American Angus Association President Gerald Callahan notes, there's reason to be optimistic for the future of the breed.
If you look around the country, the bull sales that are starting to happen in Nebraska and the Dakotas have been phenomenally good. Averages like we haven't seen before, which I think is very reflective of the demand for Angus cattle, superior genetics, the fact that we had a huge choice select spread this fall of $18 to $20, I think it's making a lot of the commercial men look at and realize that they need to invest in Angus genetics that's going to benefit them in the marketplace. As we look at the part of the United States that has a lot of potential for increased expansion, which in my opinion is the southern part of the United States and more specifically the Southwest, I think when you see heifers being retained and repopulation in those areas, that Angus are going to play a very dominant role in the genetic makeup, not only on the female side but also on the sire side. And we are already seeing quite a bit of demand for heifer bulls. There's already a lot of optimism out there. I think heifer retention is starting to tick upward. And I think as we keep replacement heifers, they're predominantly Angus genetics, and I think they're going to be also Angus bulls are going to be used on those females.
It's difficult to assess profitability on a pen of calves given the dynamics of today's feeding sector. Low cattle numbers, an influx of last summer's drought calves, and high input costs, among other factors, complicate the profitability picture.
We would tend to see when cost of gains are higher and ration prices are higher, the placement weight would go up. And you see people keep cattle outside onto grass programs longer in order to maintain or take advantage of those lower cost of gain programs. But we just haven't had the grass available in order for that to happen. So we've really seen a counterintuitive move in feedlot placement weights, even though ration prices are at record high levels. Cost of gains exceeded $1.13 per pound the last several months. And a lot of people have been concerned about what higher ration costs are, that they need to start cutting days on feed on cattle, and that we would see more of that. But with feeding cattle on a carcass basis, you can really get a lot more out of that those cattle than what people would think, and you can take those cattle probably another 30 or 40 days longer on a carcass basis than you can live.
Feed efficiency remains a top research priority for the cattle industry, as both feed costs and the world population continue to rise. A new, innovative collaboration between GrowSafe and the Samuel Roberts Noble Foundation aims at taking feed efficiency evaluation from the feeding pen to the pasture.
Feed efficiency is one of the most important traits. Basically, we're looking at 70% of an operation's cost is related to that, and anything that we can do to improve feed intake or reduce feed intake without affecting production is something that's highly valuable to the industry. One of the missing parts of the equation is always how do you measure feed intake on pasture? So what we've been looking at with the Noble Foundation is what's the best route to do this, and so we're going to be measuring gain, water intake, growth on pasture, and we're also going to look at the animal's response to pasture to see if we can see or determine feed utilization. We have a few other ways of validating and looking at what we've measured, but this is the first step in what could be a few years of research.
Visit growsafe.com to learn more about the feed efficiency research.
When Missouri voters approved a proposition in 2010 that threatened the state's livestock owners, legislators passed a bill amending the law. Now, a Missouri coalition of farmers and ranchers, known as Missouri Farmers Care, reports anti-ag organizations are attempting to change the state's ballot initiative process to prevent further amendments to voter-approved measures.
Well, what Missouri Farmers Care is concerned about this year is the Your Vote Counts initiative, which is funded by HSUS and other animal rights activists, the same people that were behind Proposition B. And what it will do is it'll take the legislature out of the initiative petition process. You know, we had a situation with Proposition B where we had to go to the legislature and have them fix the problems with it. Your Vote Counts would make that impossible by raising the bar for the legislature to touch any initiative petition from 50% where it is now all the way up to 75%, which will make it just about impossible for them to fix anything. We've got to get involved and we've got to get organized earlier. A lot of people say if we had another week we would have beat Prop B, but maybe if we'd started a week earlier we would have beat it anyway.
Visit MissouriFarmersCare.com to learn more.
The American Angus Auxiliary will host its first ever women's conference April 14th through the 16th in St. Joseph, Missouri. Angus cattle women, auxiliary members, and other women involved in the cattle business are invited to apply for the event, which is open to 20 selected applicants. Applications are due March 1st, and the conference is funded through the Angus Foundation. Visit AngusAuxiliary.com for more information and to apply. When the Angus Report returns, we discuss how the Show Me Select Heifer program effectively uses timed AI.
Plus, we bring you tips for a successful bull sale season.
We'll return in just a moment.